let me in, Mummy. Please let me in, Mummy.
Sim, it can make phones ring, it can. Just like with that police box you saw.
Are you my Mummy?
No. Right, before I analyse the scene, let me do the groundwork. The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances are two of the highest rated episodes of the show, and for good reason. A fantastic historical story set in a fascinating part of history with a brilliant science fiction horror twist. From its first moments it bursts into action, instantly engaging you, gripping you into the drama, which then allows it to take its time with the build-up. The first sighting of the Empty Child is brief, but my goodness, what an antagonist. Rose goes over to help, climbing this rope because she is an award-winning gymnast.
Jericho Street Junior School under 7's gymnastics team. I've got the bronze.
At first, it's a seemingly innocent child that needs saving and not this wall-breaking, self-healing gas mask zombie. A part of why this is so effective is that even with all of the horror, that's exactly what it is. An innocent child that doesn't understand the damage it's doing. Horror itself has a strange fascination with children. A lot of the time used as stakes, with them being a part of the family that just need to get out of a haunted house. But then you get to the creepy nursery rhymes and the dolls. All of this iconography associated with a much simpler time of life given new context. It's not only the new connotations, but when something that's typically so innocent, sweet, and we have a hardwired reaction to help them, it creates an interesting juxtaposition when they're the source of the harm, especially in a supernatural sense, and even more so when they're still calling out for their mother. This shot was burnt into my retinas at 4 years old, and while that would certainly explain a few things, it shows the true power of it. I've discussed in previous essays how Doctor Who makes the everyday scary, with statues being a prime example of that. But a child left out in the cold is something that you inherently want to protect, to welcome in. There's a beautiful naivety when it comes to the mind of a child. It doesn't understand the power of its punch, and it's not some grand villain with a rehearsed monologue on taking over the world.
There isn't a little boy born who wouldn't tear the world apart to save his mummy. And this little boy can.
If they actually understood the harm they were causing, they'd be horrified. The design and concept for the gas mask zombies themselves is a stroke of genius. It's completely dehumanizing, not only in a way of taking away your face, but it's so blank and expressionless that even when on different people in different clothes, it uniforms them into a factory line of humans instead of individual people, almost like the Cybermen. That, as well as it not giving any indication as to their intention. The perfect poker face. Do they want to hurt you? Help you? There's something inherently creepy about the gas masks, and not just their associations to the atrocities they're made to tackle. Something built to protect you, yet is still terrifying. Much like the nanogenes themselves. Built to help, and to its own knowledge, that's exactly what it's doing. Striking up even more resemblance to the
genesis of the Cybermen.
Cliffhangers. Cliffhangers have been a staple of Doctor Who since its inception. It's one of the benefits of serialised storytelling and building up to an effective ending that makes the viewer need to return for the next instalment of the story, which is only getting more and more prevalent with binging. It's an effective tool that mixed in with some brilliant writing can lead to some of the most memorable moments in a story. For his first Doctor Who episode, Stephen Moffat played on many of the established conventions of Who. Wait. For his first proper episode, he was gifted a two-parter, which would take it from a 45-minute story into two 45-minute parts of a story, combining to the length of a feature film. With this extra runtime, he fleshed out the environment and atmosphere that wouldn't be as present if in a singular episode. A number of singular episodes can and do struggle with the characters arriving in a place, lots of exposition, typically from the Doctor, a chase down some corridors, only to resolve it with a shake of the sonic screwdriver. A lot of stories fit nicely into one episode, but certain ones have lots of ideas that aren't as explored as they could have been if given enough time to breathe. Here, even though the story jumps from scene to scene, it never has a wasted moment, and always has a slow, methodical build-up to scares or action, truly painting a world that our time travellers have walked into, rather than just set up for drama, climax, and a resolution. Going from a quieter scene where you're holding your breath as the tension builds, with shots that feel like they last an eternity, only for quick cross-cutting point of views, push-ins, and Murray Gold's spectacular yet simple, hair-raising score that builds up and up and up until you don't have a moment to catch your breath. And then it ends. A lot of cliffhangers, especially in Who, leave you on a massive question, only for in the next episode it to be resolved in seconds. Then business as usual. And while that is present here,
Go to your room.
it's a perfect setup that has a brilliant payoff, saving it from feeling cheap. I know he's written more Doctor Who than anyone in history, so it'd be silly to ask for more out of that man. But with how well Moffat writes Jack, it's a shame he never penned a Torchwood story, as giving him full reign to go as far as he wanted in the world of Who on an adult show. It would have been a sexed up day one on steroids.
Oh my god. He just...
Came and went.
The scene starts off with this slow pace, leaving the camera moving methodically, soaking in all the surroundings, exploring this room where the child was kept and studied. We see the shattered glass, the aftermath of the event, so to some extent we still feel cautious, but mainly curious. What happened here? Colourful drawings line the walls and floor with a sense of looming dread. The tape starts to play. The emotional score pulls on the heartstrings and truly has this as the moment that highlights the scary monster. The big bad is just a child looking for their mother. It lets you sit with that, come to terms with that.
Are you my mummy?
What do you want? Do you
I want
know?
my mummy.
Now, let's bring it to the man of the hour, Mr. Eccleston himself. My goodness, what a performance as the Doctor. Always funny, but with deep guilt and heartbreak underpinning the entire series. He commands every frame he's in. I'd say he steals the show, but as the Doctor, he already owns it. Making exposition like this feel natural is no mean feat. His determination and pinpoint focus leads you along with him. It feels like the words are truly coming to mind and the cogs are turning in his head, working 9 to the dozen. It uses his captivating performance to hide the obvious. The sound of the finished tape spinning and clear as day. His breathing steadies.
I'm here now.
The penny drop.
Can't you see me?
I sent it to its room. This is its room.
Are you my mummy?
One moment direct focus, the next cracking a joke, and then terrified. Only to jump right back into humour. Now that is the Doctor. Along with moments later running down corridors, in this one fantastic scene alone, you see him perfectly encapsulate the character. Always ahead and behind the situation at the same time. Always thinking, figuring things out, playing the jester while working out a way to be kind. He doesn't understand what the empty child is yet, so runs away until the 11th hour and they know exactly how to help. The sight of the Doctor running for his life with a banana in hand is levity that my 4-year-old self greatly appreciated, as with moments like this, it's safe to say that my bill for therapy was charged to the Moffat residents. But man, what a story. Thrills, scares and laughs that make it perfect for the whole family, as well as Eccleston and the whole cast on top form. For everyone who's seen the series, it's a well-known fact of just how great Eccleston's performance truly is. But many skip 9 and go straight to Tennant. While I love me some 10, Series 1 is a gem and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It can be weird and campy as well as dark and thought-provoking. The passion from every angle is shown on screen, and I've said it before but I'll say it again. This two-parter is a great introduction to the show. Throw someone in directly on an adventure with a gripping cliffhanger which makes them want to see more. Then, after the Doctor dances, make them start back at Rose. This series, with this cast and team of creatives, got me invested in this fantastic show. And while I can never forgive them for that, Chris will always be my first Doctor, and I cannot thank him enough for that. A truly mesmerising actor that put his all into every scene and embodied the character perfectly. His on-screen time in the TARDIS may be painfully short, but it's been brilliant to see everyone welcome him back with open arms. With the fantastic news of Christopher Eccleston returning to Doctor Who, Sheboygan Who organised an event for the 9th day of the 9th month of this year to celebrate with a number of people, all choosing their own scene from the Ninth Doctor's time in the TARDIS to analyse, discuss, or just gush about the truly exceptional incarnation of the Doctor portrayed by Mr. Eccleston. I've linked to the playlist so you can check them all out if you haven't already. There's some truly brilliant creators involved in this, and I cannot wait to see what they've made for it. Other than that, thank you for watching. Now I'm off to watch the other fantastic scene videos in the playlist, but can normally be found in the fetal position and the fact that we never got a second series with Eccleston.